into a huge pen with a bunch of other people that are just as scared as you. You eventually get into a line and you move on a conveyor belt. Someone comes up to you and uses a stunner, basically shoots a metal rod the size of a pencil through your head and renders you brain dead. You then are hung up by your feet, your throat is cut, and then the rest of your body is cut up. This is what animals or non-humans have to go through every day. In 1997, 8.8 billion chickens were killed in slaughterhouses in the U.S. This isn't counting cows, sheep, or pigs. This number is higher than any number of people that Joseph Stalin, Adolf Hitler, or any other genocide known to mankind has ever killed. I hope this speech helps you realize that killing animals is wrong through morality, the false preverse we've created as humans, and how we effectively hurt ourselves by doing it. I decided to study up a lot on this topic because I felt as though it was very important. And through my research, I learned a lot, and in some cases, it helped me change my mind on things. Once again, in this speech, I hope you realize how killing animals is wrong and unethical through the morality, the way we've created a false preverse, and how it hurts us while we do it. Let's begin with how it's unethical and immoral to kill animals. Non-humans are living, breathing, sentient creatures, and they suffer just like us. That alone doesn't give us the right to kill them. Many people think that since animals can't communicate the way humans do, or they can't speak like us, that they can't convey pain. That is just completely and utterly wrong. A famous philosopher and professor at Princeton University named Peter Singer says that animals show pain anytime they scream, yelp, or show nervousness. If you think about it, it's sort of the same with us humans. When somebody breaks a leg or is shot or stabbed, we don't usually talk about it. We kind of turn animalistic and we writhe in pain, we cry, we scream. We do the same things that animals do. Other people try to say that animals do the same things that humans do. They kill their own kind. They kill other animals. They do that sort of stuff. But Sam Bankin, who is an author and columnist for many online publications, says that they do it to optimize their consumption. They don't waste anything, and they make sure that there's no unnecessary pain. If you think about it, we're not really like that as humans. We grossly waste stuff. We don't really think about the pain that we're causing, and that differs us from the animals a lot. Now that we've talked about the morality, let's move on to how we as humans have created a false preverse. We humans have created a false identity by putting ourselves at the top as the most superior race on the planet. The Animal Liberation Organization says intelligence is not used to determine whether a human is entitled to basic rights. The lower intelligence of animals shouldn't exclude them from basic rights. Now, if you think about it, that's a very good argument. I mean, none of us here are excluded the right to life just because we're not as smart as somebody else. Why should animals be any different? Peter Singer says that if one human has greater intelligence than another, what gives him the right to exploit another human? Or what gives him the right to exploit a non-human? And he as well is right. I mean, anyone in this room might be smarter than somebody else, but that doesn't give him the right to exploit that person. Why should it give him the right to exploit a non-human? Now that we learned about how we falsely put ourselves at the top, we can look at how we as humans hurt ourselves by committing these atrocities. Many people may not realize this, but slaughterhouses hurt us way more than they help us. About 70% of the grain that's grown in America is used to feed animals that go into slaughterhouses. According to Dr. Robert Lawrence, who is a doctor at the Johns Hopkins Center for a Livable Future, he says that we will not be able to continue on these meat-based diets for much longer, considering that 8 to 9 kilograms of grain protein is used to make 1 kilogram of animal protein for human consumption. If you think about the math there, that's so much grain being used on such little protein for animals just for us to eat. Slaughterhouses aren't just hurting us for the future though, they're also hurting us in the present. The conditions in slaughterhouses are extremely terrible. They're disease-ridden. There's so much waste that goes through there. And in a March issue of Consumer Reports, they randomly took chickens from different slaughterhouses, and they found out that 63% of them had Campylobacter, 13% of them had Salmonella, and almost all of them had general E. coli. Now, these are animals that we're ingesting into our body, that we're eating, and they're all disease, and many of them are disease-ridden. The conditions are just terrible. But this isn't the only pollution that slaughterhouses are causing. According to Jim Montevalli, who is the editor of the Environmental magazine, he says many slaughterhouses use things such as hog waste and dump them into places like the Chesapeake Bay. These hog wastes create phytoplankton, which are extremely toxic to humans. Many people don't realize how slaughterhouses have affected us, but the last thing that needs to be voiced about them is that they're very immoral. Anyone here knows about the Nazi death camps, knows about the genocide in Darfur, and I'm willing to bet that everyone in here is completely disgusted by those things. You can't really differentiate those things from what we've been doing to animals, except for the fact that we've been doing it on a much greater scale. Instead of millions of people dying, we've been killing billions upon billions of animals every year, and the number is just growing. So, I just wanted to say that I personally am disgusted by it, and I know many people here don't really think about it, but if you do, it kind of makes you think that we've as humans created our own genocide, and we haven't really even noticed it. So in conclusion, I hope you guys realize how killing animals is wrong and unethical. Through the morality, the way we've created a false preverse, and the way that we effectively hurt ourselves by doing it. I hope that these statements made here today are thought about rationally, and even though some of you people might not want to accept them or acknowledge them, at one point you're going to have to. Before I go, I want you all to look at something, and just look at it for a second, take some time to take it in. It is graphic, so some people might not want to look at it, but just imagine if you would ever want to be in a position like this. Slide off.
Thank you.
Thank you.